Come on in. Good morning and welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I cannot wait to bring you today's video. My name is Katie O'Neill. I'm coming to you live from Transwest Truck Trailer RV here in sunny and chilly Frederick, Colorado on a Monday morning. So I love to start my RV videos from the inside out, but I want to just show off quickly this great upper bunk area, the beautiful accent lighting, nice television, a storage area here where you can put your phone in, leave it charging. There's a USB type A and C outlet here, as well as two 110 jacks. So a great place if you've got kids that are sleeping up here, great area for them. And what this does is it really allows you to get a bunk model in a coach without having it the primary focus of the coach. And it's great for storage, which we're going to look at later on. So as usual, I like to start my RV videos from the inside out. So Jody, please go ahead and take her on back. And as he pans through here, just understand Renegade's a very simple, very well built, very robust product. Dovetail drawers, solid maple cabinetry, really, really nice equipment levels, available in a whole smattering of different levels. So if you want big engines, small engines, Mercedes chassis, you know, Detroit, you know, big old 600 horsepower engines, or in this case, a 1,150 foot-pound of torque bearing 360 horsepower ISL. So there's a lot of different offerings in Renegade, but one thing is consistent throughout the product. There is just not a better product when it comes to the construction of their cabinets. All of these coaches are manufactured and assembled in Elkhart, Indiana, by a very amazing community. The Amish population there really brings a lot to the table in terms of the construction quality. And one of the things that Renegade has done very well over the years has built a product that is very, very efficient in space. So first and foremost, in this rear bathroom area, plenty of leg room here. I had a client mentioning earlier that they had tried on a few different RVs and they were so impressed with the amount of leg room that you have here. But something else that's just so smart, to leave this open so you can put all of your towels out. This beautiful, you know, subway tile backsplash. This great amount of storage up top as well for anything that you want to stow while you're going down the road. Just great use of space. And for those of us that are looking for a place to do your makeup, what a nice place to put one of those, you know, magnifying mirrors. You could have your little makeup, you know, tote down here, and then all of the storage that you would ever need for towels. And then to put the TP right here underneath so it's not somewhere where you're going to bump into it while you're going down the road. Just a great thought once again. I also love the way that Renegade does their sinks. So you'll notice there's no seam here around this rectangular sink. And then they have this just really beautiful satin finish on their faucet and a great medicine cabinet. And all of these shelves are adjustable. So depending on what kind of supplies you're bringing, for instance, you could do a really tall bottle of hairspray on the top and keep this for medication down below, and then have, you know, all of your lotions, maybe your suntan oils, all those in the center shelves. But you can kind of adjust it so it fits whatever you're going to bring with you. Now here we've got this really nice shower insert. Back when I bought my 2020, they did not have this textured fiberglass insert. It was still a 35-inch radius. But this is a really nice new advent we've had come out in the last few years. Another feature that they've also started to include on this product is this adjustable soap dish. I know it seems like a little thing, but when you've got something that you can keep your razor and your soap on when you're in the shower, it's really nice. And then this little guy here goes through this hole. You'll notice we have the shower head on the floor here because it's winterized. But one of the things I want to show you is I can reach down and pick that up. So that is a really nice feature of this coach. They've changed their bench seating by moving the faucet head up here, or the controls, and then lowering this seat. This is a very comfortable place for somebody to be able to sit, wash their feet, shave their legs. And then it's really chilly today. So if I wanted to take a shower, I wouldn't have to worry about getting cold. I could keep all that steam locked in here. And this is magnetic, so it's really quite durable. And there's also this little lock here. So if your husband's, you know, a little out of control, just lure him into the shower, lock the door, get him out in the morning. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. You get in trouble. No, it's only good for kids. No, I'm just kidding. Again, don't put your children or your husband in the shower. Okay, so take a look at this. This is a lot of height. For anybody who is concerned about having a shower that's big enough, lots of elbow room here and lots of height, so plenty of room here in this rear shower. Now this is a bath and a half model with a front door entrance. So this has got some really great space in it, but it also has some really great separation of space. So Renegade tends to make their latches very simple. Just a nice little plastic latch with a snap on it allows me to open and close this door. And as you can see, super solid, really beautiful, solid maple wood construction here. Now I'm going to open this up and let Jody in so he can show you the rope hook and then the place to stow the TP as well. And I also want to show off the flush button for this toilet. So not only do you have a smart design in terms of the rear bathroom, but you also have what is an eco and a full flush. And where that's important is when you're in a coach that has 75 gallons of gray water, 75 gallons of black water, but 150 gallons of fresh water, you don't want to fill that black tank up too much. So by having an eco and full flush, you can conserve your fresh water and you can also conserve the room that you have for your black water tank. So this is a very, very nice feature. Now, when we're in this bedroom, you'll notice great, again, tuck space over here underneath to keep your plugged in devices. So you've got USB type A and C on both sides, but these really nice little ledges that you have on your nightstand allow you to put, a drink up here if you're sitting up and watching a movie. You've got these great medicine cabinets, wardrobe cabinets down below. This is a good place to keep, a water bottle, some sultry novels, and then the storage up top, again, is just really well thought out by Renegade. As you can see, these hinges are hidden. They're really nicely tucked away, giving you a lot of room to load things in out. And there's also two 110 outlets up here above this area. So if you want to get something in there, maybe you've got a laptop that you want to keep kind of stowed away, but you want to leave it charging during the day, you could always do that. And then you have the manual control here for your reading lights. And one of the cool things about Renegade is that they do put their water tanks underneath the bed. So all of your water, you've got two heat strips on your black and gray water tanks, but your fresh water is always going to be stowed inside, so you don't have to worry about those freezing cold temperatures like the ones we're having today. I'm going to start off here with this middle drawer and just show you how deep these are. Again, look at this beautiful solid maple cabinetry, this dovetailing on the exterior of them. It's just such a high build that you get with the Renegade product. And those are big, deep drawers. And then on top of it, huge wardrobes here on both the left and right side of your emergency escape window. Gigantic, deep pocket drawers. So you've got 4 of these. Then you've got 2 in the center. So you've got a total of 8 drawers the whole way through. All soft close. And right here we have a controller for the center of the coach. So you can turn your lights on and off here. So that would be this feature here. As you can see, when you're on your lights, you can individually address all of them. They're in one fell area. It's very easy to get to. All of your power management systems are here. Your temperature control, you can see I'm running the Aqua Hot. I'm on auto and I'm using the burner system, and I assure you, when I got in here this morning, it was 51 degrees. It was only about 25 minutes ago. We're all the way up to 64 already, so it's heating the coach really quickly. It's much, much nicer in here now. And then also you've got your fan control for your 2 ceiling fans. You'll have 1 in each bathroom because this is a bath and a half. All your slide controls, all of your window or your awning controls, all in one screen once again. But right here, this mobile app is what makes the difference. I can control this entire coach on the mobile app. So I can put my slides in and out from outside of my RV on my mobile app, which means if I get to camp late at night and I want to go outside and put my slides out on my own, or my awnings for that matter on my own, without having any guidance, I can actually stand outside of the unit and see and make sure I'm not going to run into anything, which is just a great feature. Now you'll notice here our Samsung Smart TV is a 43-inch Smart TV. One of the nice aspects of this coach is it is already equipped with Starlink. So, you know, Starlink has really revolutionized the coach market. This coach is also pre-wired, so if you wanted to add an InMotion or a traveler style satellite dish, you could. But we've stopped including those on our purchases because of the fact that for the most part, people are really using these smart TVs or using Starlink much more frequently. Now you'll notice here down below, everything is still wired, so if you wanted to put in a Blu-ray player or your Sony PlayStation, of course you can do that. And then I love the fact that you've got this little small drawer where you can keep, you know, some DVDs, your remotes, maybe your wallet, sunglasses, those types of things up here underneath your dresser. So again, just a great design by Renegade, making efficient use of all of their space. And then as I mentioned earlier, this is a great separation of space because you have a fold-out bed here and you also have a bunk area. So if you'd like to get a little shut-eye, go to bed in advance of the kids, let them stay up a little bit later watching movies or playing cards, you can still have your privacy, still have a nice quiet area. Another feature of this coach that I really like, and you'll notice that when I open these cabinet doors, the washer and dryer cabinet doors hyper extend so that you'll be able to use them while you're in motion going down the road. But I love the fact that when I have my when I have my slides closed in the bedroom, I can stack everything up while I'm going down the road and get my laundry done before I get to my next destination. And the Splendide washer and dryer is a really great washer and dryer set. You'll find it in most coaches, and one of the things I really like to do with mine is to keep my towels in there, but I also use it as a hamper. So if you're doing any kind of bonfires and it's kind of smoky and stinky when you get back in the RV, really nice thing, just put your jeans or your sweatshirt, whatever it is, in that washer and dryer, close the door, and you don't have to worry about that odor permeating the entire interior of the coach. Now we're going to trade places real quick because I want to show this second bathroom that we have on the RV off. Now you'll notice we've got this nice tilted tilted wall. And what's nice about this wall is it gives us a great place to keep coffee cups, tumblers, water bottles, all of those things, maybe a dry bar, both above and below. These are stationary heights, so these cabinets have a little lip here, but they are going to be this high. So they are not adjustable. All of that being said, what a great place to be able to keep, you know, any of your drink glasses, you know, whiskey decanters, whatever it might be, bottles of wine. But then because of that nice thin wall, what we have is a really very, very roomy half bath. This is probably one of the most roomy half baths you're going to find in this segment. And one of the things that allows it to be this way is the fact that this is a front entrance. So not only do you have, you know, that traditional dual entrance that you have on the Super C chassis, but instead of putting the door midship, they put it towards the front, giving you a lot more length and a lot more flexibility in how you use this mid space. All of that being said, it makes for a lot of room again underneath and above that seamless sink. So your medicine cabinet, as you can see, very roomy. If you are the person who's using this to get ready in the morning, you've got a hairdryer, it would fit very well here. Same thing with all of the makeup. So depending on who's up earlier in your household, great place there. And then up above here, again, another TP holder, or in this case, especially if you're traveling, you know, with young ones, you might keep your sunscreen up here, maybe some Band-Aids, those types of things. And then of course the San Marin toilet is again porcelain with both of those flush options. Another nice thing that you'll note that Renegade does a really good job with doing is if you don't have your phone on you and you want to be able to control your fan or your water pump, you can do that from inside of this room without having to exit. And also we've got an opening window, and standard throughout the entire product line are day and night shades. And you'll notice that when they do these night shades, they're this nice oatmeal-y color, so it doesn't feel so like you don't have a big black square in the middle of your bathroom. Just a really nice look. And of course, these are dual pane windows as well. Now, as we exit here, we're going to come into this galley area. And one of the things that Renegade does better than anybody else is the walking space that you have when the slides are closed. And this is only a dual slide coach. So you've got your front slide and then you've got your bedroom slide. But as you can see, this is a lot of room. I mean, this feels like a residential size apartment. And they do this thing where they put your couch and your dinette oftentimes next to each other, opposing your television. So everyone can sit down here and watch a movie. And when people want to get up and get popcorn, maybe make a drink, they can do so in the kitchen without disturbing the people watching the show. Now, your sound bar is a really nice feature of this coach. The sound bar is completely wired to your phone if you'd like to do it with Bluetooth. So you can just use that. But if you want to have that surround sound system, there's also a subwoofer under the sink, which I'll show you in a minute. But one of the nice things about this coach is that you have, again, a sleeper, another sleeper, and then if you're tall, you could sleep on this long ways, or if you just want a little siesta, you could sit in these little recliners. So there's options for the built-in theater seats into the couch, like you see here, or you could have a tri-fold sofa, but in this iteration, you've got a nice long sofa here, you've got another great sleeping area here, and then the sleeping area up top. But again, this coach really doesn't feel like it's made to sleep a lot of people. It feels much more like a couple's coach, where if you had friends come along, it would be totally comfortable. But if you do have those littles that you'll want to bring with you from time to time, instead of dedicating the entire RV to them, you can still have them here with a place to be comfortable in a coach that's also comfortable for you. Now, there's also heated seats and vibrating seats here. You can change your light color. So again, 1, 2, 3 settings for the vibration. So for anyone coming in off of a nice hike or a long day, you know, out on the mountains, maybe skiing, snowmobiling, great way to relax. Now, one of my favorite aspects of the Renegade product is the way they do their cabinets up front here. So you've got 12 feet of space where you have a uniform set of openings. So you can get all of the same shoe boxes and a label maker out, and you can store so much stuff in these upwards bins. And because there's no dividers on these walls, it gives you the ability to take, you know, things like board games, those longer items that you might have. You know, everything is so easy to store in a Renegade because of the uniformity of the pocket space. Now, I know you're thinking, okay, well, I guess I could keep some pots and pans up there. Well, you really don't have to, because new for 2026, Renegade has come up with some really cool things. So first of all, in the pantry area here, you've got plenty of room if you've got a rice cooker, a toaster oven, a big coffee pot. These are all, again, adjustable shelves, so those things can be stored here. They've moved their battery management system to a very nice place in the coach. It's out of the way, it's not in the kitchen, but it's accessible with all the slides closed. It's very easy to get to if you do need to check your breakers. But what they've done in the 2026 model year is they've actually really stepped up their game with their cabinets. So this is locked. I'll go ahead and unlock this, and you'll see they've given you these adjustable dividers in these big, deep pocket drawers. And so you can put these anywhere you like. So if you like to have quart pans, frying pans, pots, any of those things, you can do that in this area down below. You could also use them to store, you know, cooking sheets, whatever it might be. So again, lots of great storage options in this coach for your day-to-day living supplies. Now, of course, Renegade does, again, a nice pocket drawer here for your silverware, a huge cabinet down below. But this is one of, I think, everybody's favorite features. The place where you hang your kitchen towel. No, the full-size trash can. No, let me show you. So, really nice cutting board, right? A little wonky, things are probably gonna roll off of it. Well, not when you put it where it belongs. Take a look at this. This is such a cool way to get an island in your coach. I absolutely love this feature. I cannot tell you, wow, first class, huge pantry, huge cutting board area, a huge extension to your kitchen island. If you want to keep some chips and dip up there, or if you're just going to use it as prep space, and then to be able to take it down and tuck it in and put it away. is so smart. Another thing, if you hadn't thought about it before, that makes this very nice, I really like the fact that they do have these cabinet poles where they have the holes in them, because you can hang your kitchen towels there, which is a great feature. Now you'll notice we have a residential style faucet with both spray and pour feature on that faucet head, and we have a very spectacularly deep basin stainless steel sink underneath this faucet, or underneath this this faucet head. If you're a cook and you're doing dishes, or you're making, maybe you're having a crawfish boil, whatever it might be, this is a huge, sink. This is the kind of sink you'd find in a utility room. So a great way to be able to entertain a lot of people. And then again, here's that app that we were talking about earlier. This app allows you to do so many things. And this Firefly app is something that they've had for such a long time. But being able to control your phone or control your coach from in or outside is just such a welcome feature. And then all of the rooms for plates and bowls and dishes up top, if you would like. I mean, right now we have come into so much space in this coach. I don't even know what you'll use it all for, to be honest with you. And again, we talked about this earlier, but for those of you that do want to be able to wire a Wally system in here or a PlayStation, you still have all of the connectivity, as well as, of course, your Starlink here on your unit. Now, I love the fact that there's two 110 outlets here. If anyone wants to blow up an air mattress or anything like that, very easy to have those here. But earlier I mentioned putting your plates and bowls above the sink. In my coach, I put everything down below. But take a look. This is how deep this drawer is. You can keep all the placemats, all the napkins, all the silverware. I mean, you could just keep. You could keep the whole entire kitchen underneath this booth. And then on top of it, you've got 3 seat belts on the couch, 2 in this forward-facing unit here. Right. So if you had to do to do a rear-facing car seat, you could do a lap belt there. If you had a big dog that wanted a place to sleep at night, you could drop this down, or you could have it be for a child. But again, all of the sleeping area in this coach is camouflaged into other types of utility until it's necessary. So we love that. Now I am going to go ahead and put this up. For those of you who've never seen this ladder before, it's pretty cool. Let's see. So it just collapses in on itself. But one of the things I wanted to show you, we talked about this earlier, is, so first of all, lots of sleeping area up there without me in the way. But on top of it, oh darn it, there goes that ladder. Here we go. On top of it, you've got storage room for days. So if you wanted to leave the mattresses at home, this is a nice solid surface underneath. You could keep your totes up here, or you could keep your mattresses in here. I would probably put them underneath. There's a huge bay underneath. I could show you where to do it if you wanted to keep your totes inside. Now, why would you keep your totes inside? Chocolate melts, marshmallows get gross. Keep your wine, temperature controlled. All of those things could be done up here. So this bunk over cab, again, is useful not just for sleeping, but also for storage. And then up here, umbrellas, dog leashes, bird books, binoculars, all of those great things that you might have with you. And again, this is a really, really functional, comfortable coach. But if you look at your things like your booth, for those of you that are going to be working going down the road, to have a place to keep your beverage, to have a place to have your phone charging, your computer or laptop charging, all of those things are available right here. So a great work area. I wanted to point out the wall sconce in this coach. One of the things that Renegade has done since I've worked with them, They are very good at creating a timeless coach that has classy decorations. They're not going to become dated. Just a great job. And also, we had Adam come out to do some training with us. The construction on these coaches is really second to none. So for those of you that are looking to understand more about how these coaches are manufactured, what the walls look like, how the insulation goes into play, floor plans, we have just a ton of information available, great diagrams. I can scan these in and email them to you if you want to see how things are built. But I really, value the fact that, we have these great materials that allow us to not only have a conversation with you that is intelligent, but also to allow you to do some of your own reading. If you're interested in learning about the product on your own, you don't necessarily want to watch the whole video, you want to have more data, I'm happy to send that stuff to you. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about the interior room with the slides closed. So let's go ahead and get there. Let's just do the front one. I'm going to leave that rear slide open. So this is the Cape Cod cabinetry. For anyone that wants a really nice, light and bright looking coach, this is definitely a way to get it. Okay, you guys, I know it sounds crazy, but check this out. This is with the slide all the way in. This is the room that you have. Again, you want to take a nap, pull off to the side of the road, get some rest without having to, pull your slides out. There's so much room in this. And as you can see, you have access to your 18 cubic foot refrigerator and freezer combination with the slides closed. Another feature about this refrigerator that I really like is the fact that you have your digital display here so you can make sure your temperature is where you want it. But again, not a bunch of fancy, weird shaped, drawers. I have like a Prosecco shelf and a meat tray and all these things in my coach, but this is a very easy to load, very easy to stow refrigerator. And honestly, I loved this refrigerator in my Verona, my 2020 Verona, and they're still using it today. Same thing goes here. The High Point, they've been using this since 2020. It's a great microwave and convection oven. Does everything very well. It's a big 1.7 cubic foot capacity. I liked my induction cooktop so much in my Renegade Verona that when I built my house, I actually put induction in my house. One of the things that's nice about this, especially if you are going to have children with you, or maybe cats is another one, anything that might knock things over into an open flame in your coach, this, if you put a paper towel down on it and put a pot of water on top of it, you could boil water without catching that paper towel on fire. You could fry bacon. You can do pretty much anything. So a really cool feature that you have a very much no open flame in this coach because of the fact that this coach is, again, all electric, no propane on board. Now, Jody, how are we going to do this? We're trading places. Okay, let's do it. So Jody is always, it's like he's clairvoyant. He's always so good at this. I want to get up here into the front. So on this coach, you'll notice, and if you've been watching these videos for a while, that we now have things like the steering wheel controls. We also have a stock control for our Allison transmission. That's because this is an M2 106 Plus chassis. So this Plus chassis has really upped the game in giving us this steering wheel controls. It's also given us, we've got standard factory installed tire pressure monitoring system. We have Bluetooth capability. Renegade, of course, still opts for their Garmin, but in 2026, we've added our Voyager camera system. So this is such a welcome advantage. If you're using your Garmin for navigational directions and you put your turn signal on, it's no longer going to wipe out your navigational directions so you can't see the map. It's all going to happen here up on top live. The other thing I like that they've done is they put the microphone for your phone system up where your face would be facing if you were watching the road, right next to the horn. Okay, I swear, Jody, I didn't fart. When I stood up, it made this noise. It was not me. It was the chair. That's what she said. Okay. It's because they're so fluffy and tuffy. Speaking of which, take a look at these chairs. Talk about comfortable. Really good job. They've got armrests on both sides. In the true Renegade fashion, they always kind of articulate up by just ratcheting into the next spot. And then they go all the way down so you can get yourself nice and comfortable. Telescopic adjusting steering column, so up and down as well as in and out. And then you'll notice that when they went through this M2 106 Plus chassis change, there's a lot of things under the skirt that have changed. So the connectivity and the modular componentry where they can actually plug and play different ECMs into different places in the coach without having to crosswire was a big motivation for Freightliner as a company. Didn't really have anything to do with just the RV industry. It was the trucking industry in general. But one thing that we've really gotten the benefit of is they've really brought everything over to where the driver is. So you'll notice that we have lane tracking package that you can turn on and off. Your hazard lights are so much easier to find. You can turn your step wheel lights up and off, on and off right there. Your docking lights are right here. Also, you've got your locking diff. Everything is right next to the driver, and so they've opened up all this space. Now what you'll notice here, in Renegades of past, there would be a WABCO system giving you your distance-based cruise control. This has the Freightliner assurance package, but it does not have the Detroit assurance package. So this cruise control on this coach is set right here. You've got, you know, faster and slower. You can set everything right here on this handle, but it is not adaptive. So if you get a coach and you're looking for adaptive cruise control, don't put it to the test. You won't win. Not adaptive cruise control. In the Freightliner chassis, the Detroit assurance package comes on anything that has a DT12 transmission. This is an Allison transmission. It's the Allison 3200. These bigger Allison transmissions that you'll find, like the 4000 MH, have been dedicated to different divisions across the country towards war machines, to be honest with you. At least that's what we've been told. So all of that being said, unless you have a Detroit transmission paired with a Detroit engine, so this is a Cummins engine, right? This is that L9, the 8.9 liter ISL. You need to have a Detroit engine, a Detroit transmission, and a Freightliner chassis to be able to use a Detroit assurance package. This is the Freightliner assurance package, which is going to have, again, the lane guidance. So if you leave the lanes, it's going to tell you. It also has an anti-collision feature where if you're going to run into someone, it's going to help assist you in getting that braking power going faster. So when you actuate your brakes, they'll already be working towards stopping. Might not prevent the accident, but it would certainly help to mitigate it. But it will not have that cruise control. Now, what it does have, though, is a great place to put in your Cobra system. A nice place on either side to keep your sunglasses. And this is all soft line, just so you know. And then, of course, because of the fact that everything's slidden over here, instead of having your equalizer leveling system in some random cabinet of the coach, it's right here where you would want it, because, of course, you want to be able to, you know, turn your coach on, get your levels lifted and pulled in. So there's a few things to note about this. When you're leveling a Renegade, it's different than when you're leveling a Newmar. Newmar would like to have you put your slides out first and then level the coach. Renegade, though, when you get to your campground, they're going to want you to actually deploy your leveling jacks first and then deploy your slides. So very important. Also, you would pull your slides in with your leveling jacks extended on a Renegade. And then when you're about ready to drive, then you would go ahead and retract your slides. So very nice placement for that, like, order of operations, if you will. Now, one thing I think that's worth mentioning is there's this great curtain that comes around here. I would certainly encourage you. There's a number of different manufacturers that you can get these Mylar backed, you know, windshield, you know, covers where you're going to have an insulated cover. But if you're trying to keep your coach warm, close these curtains and let the warm air hit the dash and waft in. If you're trying to keep your coach cold, go ahead, put your inserts into your windshield and then close your curtain, and also will keep all of that cold out. So this is a very nice, well insulated coach. And you'll notice here there's a little bit of a step. So if that's an issue for you, just want to make sure we bring that to your attention. But also, as I mentioned earlier, you have so much room in the rear of this coach because you've got the door entry right behind the driver's seat, which is very convenient. I always tell people, especially if they have big dogs, really nice that you guys can get in and out at your leisure, and then you got a place here for your big dog to go in and out. Another nice feature, though, is that if you do have a bum leg or maybe you've got some hip issues, these steps are very easy to navigate. They're very comfortable to get in and out of. There's also really nice lighting on either side of them, so you can see the courtesy lights down here. And then over here on the left-hand side, you'll see that's where our house disconnect is. Now this coach does have the lithium-ion battery pack as well as a solar package. So 3 lithium-ion batteries, 3 solar panels. But as you can see, a house connection all right there next to your fire extinguisher. And then below the steps, a great place to keep your house slippers, your flip-flops, maybe some tennis shoes, so that you don't have to bring them in and out of the coach. You can go ahead and leave them down below. So as I mentioned, really easy to navigate these steps, but a new feature for 2026. So far we have the dedicated rear view monitor. We've got the locking number pad on the door. And then, oh shoot, Jody, why is it that always happens to me? Check every single door except for the one that you need to open in your video. So this front entry is nice because I can reach the front door lock really easily right there. There are power locks, by the way. There's a remote for that. But again, so really easy entrance here. These are heated seats, and they also are air leveling, so you have air leveling seats. And then I want to point out this little yellow label down below, 9,193 pounds of carry capacity in addition to the 20,000 pound weight rating. And you'll notice that there's a fuel loading system here. You've got 2 50-gallon fuel tanks, so 100 gallons of fuel, 150 gallons of fresh water, 6 gallons of DEF, 75 gallons of gray water, 75 gallons of black water. Great feature, right? Well, what do you use to heat all of that? Hydronic heat. So another new feature for 2026 is the fact that the Renegade Verona now has a 450D Aqua Hot unit. So the only big differentiation in this coach now is going to be tile floors and heated floors that you would get in that LE. And then of course some floor plans, but getting into that better hydronic system is pretty awesome. Now these are carpet lined bays. I don't know, people like to do that rhino coating. I love my carpet lined bays. Plenty of room for big bins. But as I mentioned earlier, if you wanted to put your ladder in here or those mattresses, I love the fact that they've removed that divider there, so you have lots of long storage. Maybe you're a fly fisherman, you've got those big poles, right? And then the dual latch system here, nice and robust. You've got an air chock in there as well as your slide locks. You do want to put those slide locks in if you feel your slide is leaking. I never really used mine, but I've heard that if you're going down a really bumpy road, that might be more useful. As you can see, huge bay storage here. Oh, I forgot to put the awning out. Shoot. Well, I still have the lights on. Show that awning. As you can see, you've got a really nice big living room right here. Below your awning is your television, of course. And again, another Samsung, another really nice sound bar. And like I said, this is a great place if you want to just listen to some Jimi Hendrix while you're roasting marshmallows. You don't necessarily have to have the TV on, but when you have this awning out, it's just a great place to be able to sit back and relax. And I left this out because I wanted to show how robust this slide system is. So it's not going to have some kind of random wonky cord. Really nice top and lower guide systems pulling these slides in and out, giving you a nice, stable, consistent in and out every single time. You know, Renegade and Newmar really both have owned this market in terms of putting together coaches that are really robust and well built. Great pass-through area here. Anyone got some long lawn chairs, maybe some paddleboard sticks or paddles? And then this little guy back here is where I would keep my my outdoor fire pit. We always have to have one of those with us in Colorado because of the fact that there's usually a burn ban. Now, something I think worth noting that Renegade does, and I think it's a very smart move, is they have a two-piece fiberglass cap on the rear. Now, the top of the coach has a single piece of fiberglass, which is going to give you, of course, the best chance against any kind of leak perforation. But down here, if you have a little oopsie, only having to repair from here down and not having to mess with this bigger aspect of your end cap is always nice. Now you have, again, a 20,000 pound towing capacity. This is a 3-inch receiver. So if you do have a smaller Blue Ox, you would need a downsizer. And then keep in mind, a standard feature of this coach is going to be, for instance, the mud flap. A standard feature of this coach is going to be the Voyager pre-wire, the 7-pin connector, also a trailer brake. But if you want to have an airline installed on this coach so that you can do an Air Force One braking system, we are very capable of doing that for you here at Transwest. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so back here, you've got your surge protector. You also have your power cord on a power reel. Just make sure you put your back in when you start. That cord can leak as it goes over bumps, and if it does and you're dragging that power cord, of course you're going to find yourself needing to replace that power cord at a later point in time. Also, you'll see that they do give you that 50 to 30 amp downsizer. Just a nice feature. And Renegade really tries to make sure you have everything you need when you get on the road. This is a place to keep your black water tank, or black and gray water tank hose. I've never used it for that. I think it's a little bit small, plus I like the ones that have the clear elbows. But you could use one in this case because this coach has the optional FlowJet macerator system, which means it has its own built-in pump hose already. So your sewage hose is already attached to the gray and black water tanks. You don't actually need to have a separate gravity hose. So if you wanted to keep a spare in here, you could do that instead. Don't want to pass this up. This is our quiet diesel generator. This is an 8 kilowatt Onan. This is a really important feature too. There's a breaker switch here. If you ever find yourself in a position where you're running your generator, likely because you have your breaker on your generator tripped. I get that call a lot, so I always like to mention it in the videos. So down here below our exhaust vents for both the engine and the hydronic system, we have our really cool water management system. So your wastewater management system has the sea level tank monitoring system. Again, you can see all of this from your phone, as well as both of those different display panels inside. This is actually etched with a water jet into this big metal cover here, so you're not going to have to worry about wondering what that button is for. It's for your hose reel. It'll say that forever. And then you have your black tank wash, your cable, you've got your low point drain, and again, there's that FlowJet. The FlowJet's right next to this little place. This little guy here is where you attach this hose. This is a new feature again in 2026. We used to just have it kind of strewn down there. So very nice that they've kind of updated this. And then you'll see that your freshwater hose is on a power reel, so you don't have to worry about stowing that either. Very efficient of space. Here's that FlowJet hose, and you'll see on the inside here, you can actually turn that pump on and attach a hose to it. So if you are filling up that gray water tank a little faster than you're hoping, you can actually go ahead and pump that to a localized drain. Now, of course, you wouldn't pump sewage there, but if you just need to do another load of laundry and you need to get a little more room in that gray water tank, it's a great feature to have. And of course, it makes dumping your tanks faster as well. These are your gray and black water tanks here. Again, there are heat strips on them. And then here is that big revolutionary change for this model year. So between the keyless entry, the dedicated rear view camera, and going up to the AquaHot 450D hydronic system, this coach is really better than it's ever been before. I gotta tell you, Renegade's they're not sitting around, atrophying. They are striving to get better. They build a more robust, a better product. And this segment, man, there's really nothing that competes at this price point with a coach of this caliber with this many features on the M2 106 Plus chassis. Now, Tiffin tries to fake it in their S2RV chassis. Well, that's what we put our Valencia and Grand Stars on. Something like this, though, with this 8.9 liter ISL. And please be careful if you're comparing horsepowers. You could really get yourself in a load of hurt, because my 360 horsepower 8.9 liter ISL here is the same horsepower as the 6.7 liter ISB with only 800 foot-pounds of torque as well. So when you ask someone, does it have a 360? Yeah, it does. And not only that, can I tell you, like, Newmar actually figured out how to put a 450 horsepower in the same engine. So that 8.9 liter ISL horsepower really doesn't differentiate. Torque is what tells you, liter size is what tells you. And this coach with a 9,000 pound carry capacity and a 20,000 pound towing capacity is gonna get you up and over that hill with your payload with so much storage, again and again and again. I know we talked about it, so we've got our lithium ion battery upgrades, as well as our 330 amp hour AGM battery here for house and chassis. And again, nice solid doors that have these dual latches on them. And then paired with access to your DEF tank, driver's side, easy to get to, right next to your fuel. Again, saddle tanks do have a bleed over, but they take forever, so you'll probably want to do both at the same time. I love these nice grippy solid step entrance points, just easy to get up and into the coach. And then again, there's your brake controller. You've got a little diagnostic port here. This is to operate and control your telescopic steering column. Here's the chassis disconnect, so if you want to turn your chassis batteries off, you can do that there. And then, as mentioned, Freightliner makes it very easy to get in and out of this coach in the front as well as at the door. And then one of the main reasons I think that people like these Super Cs is for service. So I'd be remiss not to show you underneath the hood here. You'll notice, oh shoot, did I get this other side? Nope, it's still closed. So you'll notice that the red engine, of course, is going to be that Cummins engine. And then the black is the Freightliner chassis below that Cummins engine, just a really nice marriage there. But you'll also notice a few other things. For instance, this does not have airbags in the front. This is going to be a spring leaf suspension. This drives much more like a truck. You've got a ton of engine out in front of you. So if you're barreling through I-80 on the regular and there's a lot of mule deer or moose where you're camping oftentimes, that's one of the big advantages that you have to a Super C, is having this engine out in front of you. The other big advantage that you have is if you are that guy who's gonna do your own service, that has been driving trucks for years, that knows their way around an engine bay, this is certainly an easier access point. Now, I'll tell you, if you come in for a regular oil change and season get ready on a Class A or on a Super C here at Transwest, we don't have a lesser charge for you getting your Class A serviced over your Super C. We're happy to have you either way. But again, for those of you that are really interested in being able to do some of your own maintenance, this is a great feature. Now you'll notice down below we've got these beautiful Alcoa rims. One thing to note about this, a lot of people like those American X Racing wheels. They're very easy for us. We are a certified dealership for that product. We can get you any of them that you like, and they're very inexpensive to add to this coach. So if that's something you would change out, you're welcome to. I think with the chrome, backed, mirrors with a nice, I think all the detailing on this coach looks so sophisticated as it is. I love this paint job. So this is called the Kinetic paint job. This is a really, really good looking paint job. The silver and black, Renegade does this full paint finish so well. They do things like the diamond shield here in the front. They just, everything on this coach just looks so classy. This is stock number 5N250134. Again, 5N250134. This is a 2026 Renegade Verona 40 VRB. And so when you see an LRB, that would be an LE. A VRB is a Verona rear bath. But again, if you're looking for a bath and a half unit to get you out on the road and camping, let us know what we can do to help get you there. Thanks for tuning in.